This video is going to walk you through how to write a lab report. Now, a lab report has 4 sections, and sometimes we just refer to it as an IMRD format. That's introduction, methods, results, and discussion. Now, the introduction is going to give background information. Background information isn't just stuff you make up. It is stuff that is relevant to what you did in the study. So, for example, if your study is looking at water quality, background information would typically cite a few different studies that you read, probably in the class that you're in, that give general background information on why water quality matters. So, for example, you might start with a place like, there's a problem with shortage of water in some areas of the world because of water pollution. And then you're going to want to reference some key scientific articles that support your statements. Those are going to come with citations at the end of your sentences that provide those details. The next section would be the methods. The methods is what you did. Now, this should be quite detailed because in a scientific report or a lab report, you should be able to pretty much copy what the scientists did by reading their methods. You might have a few questions or a few details that are unclear, but it should be very specific and provide the details of every step that you did, from collecting the data, analyzing the data. Even things like, did we use software? What kind of instrumentation did we use? All of that should be in your methods. The results section should be primarily tables and figures. You will have some text in your results section, but that text is going to connect your tables and figures to each other, and it's going to provide a few key details about highlights of some things that you might find in your tables and figures, and a few things that you might need in order to understand or interpret what is happening in those tables and figures. Okay, so the results section is your tables and figures primarily. It's where you show your data or what it is that you collected in that lab. And then finally, you're going to have your discussion. This is where you interpret, okay, and you describe the implications of that data. So what is the meaning of the data, and how does it relate back to what we did in the background section? So, for example, in the introduction, I talked about water quality. I collected some data on water quality. I showed you the results of my water quality, and then I said, hey, this water quality is either good and refutes the idea that there is bad water quality in the world, or it shows, ooh, we have a problem with water quality in this particular region, which relates to the broader problem of water quality in the world. So sometimes we talk about this as being an hourglass format. Why an hourglass? Because you start broad with the introduction, you narrow to the specifics of your study, and you end with a broad discussion where the ending relates back to the beginning. So these are the key details that you should be covering in a lab report.